Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody tuning in live, listening and replay. This is the vault, episode 700 and where we at? 700 and it's like 757 now. It's a 757. We flying. The episode is trying to build assets and trust. Thank you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. Once again, this is episode trying to build assets and a trust. This is definitely, if you're a long time listener, y'all know that we do episodes a lot of the time based off of the conversations that we have and the trustees that come through and various different things that they're going through. And so we want to have that conversation today. This is one of those lines that comes up very often. I'm trying to build assets in the trust. Well, okay, you're trying to build assets in the trust. A lot of people are saying this. A lot of people say, oh, I'm trying to build assets in the trust. Okay. Once again, it's not legal advice or financial advice. We're having a conversation in the public. And the conversation, we're here to have it. And we have no problem with having it because we understand that when it comes to this particular matter, oh, I'm trying to put assets in the trust. It's like, well, it's the same thing as if you were putting assets in any other way. Some people may say, "Oh, you're just going to blanket statement that it's." Ladies and gentlemen, you have to be clear on the basics, which is it's an entity. So let's be clear that it's an entity. Doesn't matter if you own it, don't own it. Those are secondary problems because the owner is going to be liable. But once again, it's an entity, it's a vehicle, just like on the public side. They have, just like if you want to say, oh, it's public and private. Exactly. So, people say, oh, I want to build assets in a trust. We're just going to go ahead and tell trustees, because a lot of trustees listen and they're like, oh man, I'm trying to build assets on a trust. Well, if you're trying to build assets on a trust, this might be the hardest thing to hear and say in the public. Why? Because we're from the private sector, so it's not legal advice or financial advice. But first of all, when you go into a company, the company's going to have insurance on the officers of the company. So if you're a trustee, if you're a manager, if you're the executive of the company on the public side, it's the same thing as on the private side. It's no different, quote unquote, meaning that you still have a position, quote unquote, and the first asset of the company is the people that work for it. It's really just that simple. Some people may say, is that the case? 100%. The greatest assets initially in the company are the people. So now that we're clear that we the people, you the people, are the asset, first of all, it sounds wild for trustees to be focused on trying. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, what is when y'all come into the private sector, if you in any smart, intelligent room, what is the greatest investment you can ever make? It will be in yourself. What will be the greatest investment the family can make? In you. Might sound selfish, might sound egotistical, but at the end of the day, if you're not at your best, how are you going to help the entity perform at its best? If you're the only one there, especially if you're the only one there. So if you're not the only one there, do you have other people to buffer your weaknesses, liabilities until you can build up the assets? The first asset is the people though, such as yourself. Oh man, Trust Christian, you talking about building up the assets, then we gone into what you talking about now, talking about the assets. What are the assets? The assets are the people. So when you have those insurance policies, we're not giving no legal financial. Can't you take those as asset value for the books of the entity now if it owns the policies on you? These are things that we're aware of in the private. We don't second guess them or think twice about them. But when you talk about these things, sure, you can do these things in the public. Are they sophisticated procedures? Sure. They're not numbnuts ideas. Oh yeah, I'm just going to go in the company and make money and, be liable for everything. No, that's not how this works. See, those are the uneducated in business. Those are the controlled knowledge information. It's like saying, oh yeah, I'm going to school to be a doctor or lawyer and I'm going to make all this money. When you say all of this money, you're not making more than 1 million. We know people that are heart surgeons. We're not knocking the profession. What we're talking about objectively is they even share with us that, oh, Christian, we got to deal with, trust Christian, we got to deal with malpractice insurance and all this other stuff. We deal with dentists that don't even want to have their own businesses in that field. Why? Because they insurance. But we're focused right now on building the assets and the trust, because that's the question that comes up. That's the statement that comes up. Trustee says yesterday, oh yeah, I'm trying to build the assets on the trust. Okay, so what are you doing? Y'all don't want to hear this. What are you doing for you? Because if you're not an asset to the trust right now, you're a liability, meaning you're knowledge based. A lot of people think knowledge is power. A lot of people think knowledge is money. A lot of people think knowledge is information. Okay, great. You got the information. Not necessarily saying what are you going to do with it, because not all information is equal, ladies and gentlemen. Trustee's going to tell us, oh yeah, I don't understand the difference between asset and a liability. That's all it comes down to. Why? If you only knew your job was a liability, how? Because it's producing active income, not passive income. So what are you doing to produce passive income right now? What assets do you have to produce passive income? Did you know that the insurance policy on you can produce passive income? Oh, I didn't know that, Trust Christian. How does the insurance policy pay the trust if it's a policy on me? How does that work? That's really what's going on. That's what we're talking about. Trustees say, this is what trustees say. Oh yeah, Trust Christian, I'm gonna take money from my job and put it in the trust. Let's talk about it. Oh yeah, Trust Christian, I'm gonna take money from my job and I'm gonna put it in a trust. That's building assets. So here we go. Okay, is the money an asset, or what you're gonna do with the money is gonna become an asset? Because as it stands right now, how is the money an asset if the trust has it sitting in the bank account? It's just sitting there. Not only that, it's earning minimal interest, 0.00, whatever it is. And not only that, it's a liability to the bank, because if it's within a financial institution on the public side, that puts restrictions on it, such as you have to maintain a certain amount balance. Not only that, you can't even take out a certain amount in a day. So even if you have an account that has over 50, 20, $100,000, you have to make sure that the limit that you can take out of the account at one time is equal to or greater than the current account amount. And most of the time it's not. Just because you have $100,000 in the account, since all these people want to brag about how much money they got sitting in the bank. Oh yeah, I got money sitting in the bank, Trust Christian. See, they don't really want to know about the money. They don't really want to know that it's just paper. Why? Because they're saving it. Why would you be saving something that is literally lost exponential value and losing value at all times? But they want to save it because there's a function to the money. It's supposed to be utilized for business purposes. That's why people do get caught up in the rat race. Why? Because they never convert their mindset to what will be considered an ownership position or a control position, to manage assets from more of a steward position, not from a liability position. I'm trying to build assets in the trust. The greatest asset to the trust initially is yourself. It's going to be you. Okay, who are you going to build the team around? You got to build a team, right? Right. Okay. So who's the greatest asset in the beginning? It's going to have to be you. Oh man, Trust Christian, what do you think is an asset outside of myself? Having a dictionary. How you gonna be in a trust sector? How you gonna be in business and you don't have the dictionary for the sector that you in? It's like an employee. Don't they know the employee handbook? Yeah. Well, do you know what the entrepreneur handbook is? A lot of people say, oh, I never heard of that. There is no entrepreneur handbook. How is it not? They call it a legal name. They're talking finance and nature. It's a legal dictionary. It's legal terms. They're doing contractual and contract in nature. They're trying to get you to sign out of your nature. That's why you got a signature. So how is it not? Oh, I don't. There is no language to this, or there is no. I don't know the rules of business. Of course, anybody can say I don't know the rules of business. How are you not? It's like, okay, how do you know how to operate in the common man world? Because you learn the common man language. How do you know how to operate in the business world? You learn the business language. The business language is the same language they're utilizing in other sectors, the law sector, whatever it is. It's the contractual language, and that's inside of a legal dictionary. It's funny because there's two dictionaries. Clearly, it's two dictionaries now. Y'all want to play this game? Let's have this conversation. We can have this conversation with whether they're a politician, whether they're a finance person. There is a legal dictionary, and then there's a regular people dictionary. Y'all want to talk about it? I don't want to be regular trust Christian. Y'all want to go there? That's really what they call people. We sit in these rooms. Oh man, all I know is the regular man language. All I know is the common man language. Then you don't need to worry about you're already considered a minor. Why? Because you're not learning to be a majority. Majority means you understand the language that you're speaking. The language that you're speaking is finance in nature. If you're going out and even saying you're trading your energy, your time for money, and you don't know financing language, business language, then you already know you're assuming the position of a minor. But when you understand and understand and whatever you want to stand on the fact that you understand, quote unquote, business language, it's not the common man language. Why? Because you can go into most places for business or court and you talking common man language and you get railroaded. Why? Because you don't know what you're saying. You don't know when to object. You don't know how to stand on law. Why? Because you don't know that in the courtroom it's a de facto system. You may not know that the system is a bankrupt system. Once you understand that it's a bankrupt system, that alone should give you freedom to operate within the system from a true creditor perspective. But how so? How not trust Christian? How not trust Christian? Because they don't understand the language. Once they understand the language, get a better grasp of financing terms, liability terms, asset terms, then of course you'll have a better standing in finance, business in general. Oh man, they try to get on Donald Trump. Oh, Donald Trump bankrupt 6 companies. Is the United States in a bankruptcy? Yeah. So he's actually playing the game properly. What are you doing? Does every entrepreneur claim that? No. But people don't want to hear that. A lot of great entrepreneurs say that they don't have money in their name. So how is it that you gonna call yourself a great business person and you got all this money in your name? I got money in my bank account. I got $100,000 in the bank account. Or $1 million in the bank. I got $1 million. I got $700,000 in my bank account, Trust Christian. But it's in your name. So how you build assets in the trust? Not only that, let's just say it is. Oh, I got $1 million in trust. First of all, okay, for everybody that says, "Oh yeah, the bank only insures $250,000," that's a trust contract. We're gonna keep going on this line of thought since people want to act like they don't know that. Oh yeah, it's a contract, Josh Christian. I signed it. Yeah, you did. So you went in and you said, okay, anything above this amount that I put in this type of denomination or what do they call it? Prima facie evidence. Okay, if I put this prima facie evidence in here, after that, you guys are not going to insure it. Who's not insuring it? The bank or the FDIC? So, bam. Okay, they say, oh, well, the bank, we're going to insure up to $250,000, but we can't insure after that. Now, you think about that. Why don't they want more than $250,000 on the book to insure? See, this is for average people. The common man. They're going to go in that bank. Oh, yeah, it's not a big deal. Why? Because if you have a contract with them and they don't pay you right away, then you understand why. Because they already told you after 250 we're not liquid, and before that we're barely liquid. A lot of people don't understand that though. Why would they put a limit in place saying we can insure or not insure more than 250 or less? And it actually used to be lower than that. It used to be 150. Now it's 250. Why? Because they understand the money that you have is losing value. They don't really care. You would wonder why the average individual doesn't start a bank for their family or get into what's considered private banking. A lot of trustees, y'all want to, oh, trust Christian. Mosey wosey me. Mosey wosey you. Not at all. First of all, you guys are engaged in actually the most elite situations you guys could ever be in your life. You guys are engaged in private family banking. And not only that, how are you engaged in private family banking and you don't still understand that that is your first bank? And that is where most of the capital should be pushed through first before it truly goes into another secondary source to operate in the public. How many people understand that? How many people truly understand private family banking? How do they understand that, Trust Christian? Trust Christian, private family banking, it's just not a common thing. I'm not talking to enough people about it. It's not promoted in the public to do all of that. Exactly. Because in the public, they don't tell you that. To have your own private family bank first. How could you do that? You have a job. How could you do that? You have a public business. How could you do that? That's what they say. But then when you come into private and you know, okay, a lot of entrepreneurs in the public, they're private people. They just what? Are operating in the public to acquire assets, to take assets from the public and bring them into the private. Why? Because they understand that a lot of assets and entities are operating from a negative position, from a net, from an actual bankrupt position, and they understand that they can acquire debt, pennies on the dollar, year by year as we go further into the fiat debt system. See, people actually are dreading the fiat debt system instead of utilizing the fiat debt system. You understanding what the book, what's that book, Jekyll Hyde? What is that? What is that? We're gonna look it up for y'all. It's a very good book, actually. The animal, is it? What is it? The animal? Is it the monster of Jekyll's? Let's see, the monster of Jekyll Owl. Uh-oh. The creature of Jekyll. Oh, hey, we were close. We knew it was something like that. And this thing is like most people be talking smack. Oh, trust Christian, I know all the information. How you know all the information? You don't even know where the paper that you operating on a daily basis came from. But y'all so informed out here. And then trustees try to talk to us. Oh, you don't understand. The money's not real. Well, do you use it to sustain your body? We don't see you stealing. We don't see you bartering. We see you utilizing a fiat note. Do you understand where the fiat note came from? So when y'all can go watch this, it's actually a book. It's supposed to be a book. It's supposed to be a book. We're about to get it for y'all. The Creature of Jekyll. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a classic expo of the Fed that's become one of the best-selling books. It says, where does the money come from? Oh, trust Christian, I know everything. How do you know everything? You're from the hood. You didn't create the money. Somebody actually created it. Just like it's in your hand, somebody created it. It's a real thing. And for that reason, The Creature of Jekyll Isle is a clear book that let people know they on the 5th edition of this thing. Oh, trust Christian, you trying to wake me up. Ain't nobody trying to wake you up. We're just talking to you about what it is. You operating with it. They operating with this capital. Oh man, trust Christian. Man, ain't no, oh man, trust Christian, nothing. It's called, you're going to make it a point to understand what is it that you're dealing with so you can operate with peace and joy and happiness and understand that the money game, quote unquote, is just a game. It's you gotta learn how to not only just acquire it. That's the wildest part about it. This is the wildest part about it. Think about what we're going to say to y'all, ladies and gentlemen. The game that people play in the public is an acquisition. In the private, the mindset is preservation. Those are two different things. This might be the hardest one to grasp. Why? Because people get quagmired. They're going to say, oh man, trust Christian, I'm building my wealth. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm building my wealth. So how do I maintain a mindset of preservation while I'm supposed to be building it? All right, here we go. We're going to break it down for you. Jeez. So, what happens is you're born into a family that has the means. Go ahead and imagine yourself in a situation where mom and dad, whoever, you were born into money. Okay, great. And in the course of you living your life as a youngster, you learned about money and you learned that money was a tool. You didn't learn it was for emotional purposes. You learned it was a tool. You learned that money was actually supposed to go make more money. You learned that it is a multiplier. It is a force multiplier. You learn these type of terms. Oh, it's a force multiplier. What does that mean, trust Christian? It's a force multiplier. Right. This is something that can work while you're asleep. This is actually a tool, just like if you had turned your engine on to get you to where you need to go faster. It's the same thing as cutting on your water and washing your body. It's a tool. You utilize it. And so in turn, When you got older, you understood it wasn't about acquisition, even though you were going to go out and try to make a name for yourself, quote unquote, on your own. And then on the back end of that, not mess up the family name, but that's how you preserve. First thing is not mess up the family name. Second thing is you go out and you do your best to build what? Equity again. So you're focused on preservation. Some people say, well, I didn't start out that way. All right, great. That's what they're going to say. I didn't start out that way. All right, great. But now that you know, there is a change of mindset, which is it's not just about acquisition. Preservation imbues acquisition. Why? It doesn't say that you don't expand. What it says is we take calculated risk. Do you hear the difference? What it says is whatever we have first, we're going to use to multiply. We're not going to utilize it for consumer purchases. That's just the reality of the situation. Does that hurt? Does that make an emotional pain in people? Sure. Why? Because they have emotional barriers with money. And that's something that the mentors trained us to. We were like, okay, well, they want to train us to, once again, preserve capital, preserve your energy. Then they trained us in words like allocate. So we're just focused on allocating. Because when you're discerning, you're preserving. When you're acquiring, it could be, I'm going to do anything for money. I'm going to do what's going to give me the most amount of money. Sometimes it's not about what's the most. Sometimes it's about what's the most efficient and effective. See, people, there's a preservation mindset, which is it's not about how much we make, it's about how much we keep. That's the preservation mindset, ladies and gentlemen. It's not anything other than that. It's about your net worth. We were going to do an episode about paying your family estate first, but I mean, think about it. Are you paying the family estate indefinitely? People don't want to hear that though. Are you paying this the estate, the family estate indefinitely? Do you have a family obligation to the family estate? Some people may not want to hear that. Oh man, Trust Christian, I gotta pay the family estate first, but I gotta pay the bills first. Okay, and now you know why the family estate looks the way it looks. It's not a question of, oh man, why is it like that? Now you know why the family estate looked the way it looked. How do you build the family estate? Oh man, Trust Christian, even if you only gave, it's no set amount, but if you start setting those standards, and once again, the family estate has those standards, then you already know the outcomes that you're gonna get. It's really simple. So when trustees say, "Oh, how do I build assets on the trust?" Some people probably came on here expecting, "Oh, you should go into this and go into that. You should build a business." We're not saying that either. What we are saying is, as trustees, you definitely have to think like a trustee, entrepreneur, not thinking like an asset preserver. Not just, oh yeah, I'm an employee, I'm gonna go work, I'm gonna trade time for money, I'm gonna keep doing active income projects. I'm not gonna put time and heavily invest in my education and my thought process towards passive income projects. Why? Because they're just not aware of these type of things. You have to immerse yourself in these type of things. You have to engage in these type of things. And we do our best to share this with trustees, ladies and gentlemen, that some trustees they suffering from cognitive dissonance. Oh, Trust Christian, you know, I just I gotta take care of my family. Really? So the family estate is not a priority over the taking care of your family? Well, it is, Trust Christian. What you trying to say? We just sitting here having a conversation in the public because we have these conversations with people in the private and have had these conversations with people in the private. Oh, Trust Christian, I just need to get to this. I just got to make it a point to. What do most trustees say? I mean, a lot of them just they feel like, okay, time management. They quite a few trustees are like, okay, we got to tighten up on our time management first. We got to make sure our time management is solid. Once they get their time management down, that's the case. Okay, we share with them systems to get that in place. But that is one of the biggest things that one of the things that trustees come in trustee training and say, oh, I gotta get time management down. These are small things that help you build assets. People try to look at their time as an asset, right? They look at their actions as an asset, right? So just making it a point to acquire those things, take action on those things. Some people say, "Oh, Trust Christian, I need to know about all these investments for this. What you talk about this whole build the assets and the trust? I need to know about all these investments." But what are you talking about? The greatest investment a mentor shared with us is in yourself. What you know and who you know. So how are you going to sit here and say, "Oh yeah, I need to know about all these investments"? No, once you invest in your education, you'll definitely know about uh, what investments to take. And that's the challenging part. People say, I don't know what risk to take. I don't know what's an asset or a liability. They don't want to admit it though. They don't really want to admit that. They're not clearly speaking in that language every single day, asset liability language. And once you get to that point where you can say, okay, this is asset, this is liability, you'll be a lot more discerning. You'll come from a preservation mindset. You'll be able to build assets a lot easier because you understand what's an asset and what's a liability, so you can minimize the liabilities. Does it take time to build an asset? First of all, ladies and gentlemen, you talking about getting something to operate when you're not around. That is a sophisticated procedure. It's not a, oh man, it's happy slap. How's it happy slap? How many assets are you just rolling around in? Right, because it's a mindset. It is a not just a mindset, it is a building or an acquisition. There is a preservation mindset too. Okay, once you have it, how are you going to preserve it? These are the mindsets for trustees or otherwise. What's an asset? What's a liability? How many people know the difference? How many people are operating on understanding? Oh yeah, I know the difference. I'm operating from an asset position. Okay, great. Then trustees got assets. They got assets, and ladies and gentlemen, we gonna go ahead and say this to y'all. Whether y'all know it or not, we already know this on the private side. There's no way people gonna try to. Oh, I didn't know that, Trust Christian. Of course, you didn't know that it costs money to maintain assets. So how is someone gonna sit here and say, "Well, I don't need to have the knowledge base to not only just have the asset, but maintain the asset"? Correct. To warehouse the asset, to store the asset. Correct. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. How are you managing the assets that you have? Some people don't understand clearly the liabilities from their assets, so in turn, how you gonna get an asset? How you even gonna build an asset? You don't know clearly what is assets. You know, you sat in front of somebody today and say, okay, list out all the assets and liability activities you did today. Can they list them? Oh man, Trust Christian, I want to build assets in a trust. How are you gonna build assets in a trust? And okay, you have any intellectual property, anything that the family estate is going now utilize as intellectual property? What do you have other than labor? Does the entity have money? There's only two inputs, money and labor. Then you got, okay, assets that sit on the books, hard assets, tangible assets, intangible assets. People talk about crypto. It's funny because crypto, we at this point can see it. It'll just be like the paper money. Why? Because so many people have faith in it. It doesn't the money say? It says this is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States. They got full faith and credit, right? Right? Full faith and credit. That's just what it is. People got the full faith and credit, right? That's what it is. People don't even want to know how much of a spiritual, how they gonna put in it that is based off the faith and credit of the United States, which is the people, the faith of the people, the credit of the people, and they want to sit here and say, "Oh yeah, I don't really know what's this for, or I don't like this." How is it? How do you not like it? It's based off your faith and the credit that you have inside of you. But when it comes to those assets and liabilities, do you know when it's an asset and when it's a liability? Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody tuning in live, listening to replay. Feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com if you want a consultation. You want to get on the line, you can feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. We do consultations, and as well, we work with a lot of trustees. A lot of trustees reach out. A lot of trustees not only trying to build it, but they want to preserve it for sure. So there are many trustees that reach out that already have something, and we work with them and have helped them in the past, and we'll continue to help them. But as it stands right now, the building ones, it's always oh man, Trust Christian, I'm trying to build assets in the trust. Man, what do you think I should be doing? Or they're not doing it because they know that it's not active income, it's passive income. See, that's where we could talk to y'all, because the active income traditionally is on the public side, it's not on the private side. The private side is where you actually do gain freedom, and you do understand that money is a tool and money is to work for you. That's how it works. What are we talking about? But oh, I didn't know that, or I'm not implementing that strategy heavily. And that's the case. You got to implement the strategy because it's based off of your team. The more you surround yourself with people like that, the team, then you'll be able to get those results, because the team can help you achieve those goals and those results. Appreciate you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. I always appreciate everybody tuning in live, listening to replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. Peace.